Hey everybody, for tuning in. All right, how you guys doing? Yeah, okay.
There's some interference.
Okay.
Okay, I think that fixed
You
it.
all right?
No, okay, hold on. I need to hold on.
If you have two devices open, Tanika.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's two devices, that's gonna get feedback.
I don't know where the other device is.
I'm not on a second device.
That's like Wonder
Okay,
Woman.
yeah. I muted her for now, just so that we could have her,
Okay.
close out of one of the volumes. That's probably what it is.
Okay. Well, how's everybody doing? Well, we doing everything.
Fantastic.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everybody.
We're coming live from I don't know where are we? Is this London?
London?
Like, yes, we're in London.
Yes.
In our black polo. Yes, and I had to walk here because I'm like, nobody's playing right now. But let's see, we're people are chiming in. Dorothy Williams and Amy Childs Jones. Hello, Jan.
Hi, everybody.
Twilight Zone. Yeah, that sound. Oh, there it is, Twilight Zone. I thought it was
Hello,
more like.
everybody.
Yes. So anything going on so far in everybody's life? I know it's just Monday. How was your weekend? It was cold here.
Man.
Oh, I'm so sick of the rain. It's been raining here in Hampton Roads for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Over here, it's been, really we were just preparing. My wife just got off of maternity leave, so she's back at work today. So over the weekend, we just wanted to relax and just really take in the fact that she'd be working too. So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How's the baby?
she's doing great. She's 5 months old now. Very. I think that what the nurses all say is alert. And beyond that, she's trying to crawl. So we're just like, oh no. I mean, I'm already she doesn't like being left alone, but now I'm imagining chasing her around. She's crawling everywhere. So I'm happy about it, but I'm also nervous.
Yeah.
So how big is the family gonna get? Have y'all talked about that?
Oh. Boy, what do you mean?
5 kids, 6 kids?
10
Oh,
kids?
that's what you meant. Okay, yeah. No, we've talked about it. Let's say when we started dating, I said I wanted a big family. But she looked at me kind of sideways, like, how big? I was like 5, 6. And she's like, and I'm gonna have to give birth to all of that. So I'm all right to compromise. My body's not gonna change. So right now, 4 at the most. I think she'll be happy with that.
That's a good number. Good number.
Yeah. Shanika, so how you been? You okay? Oh.
Okay. Shanika, try one more time.
I think I need to go all the way out and then come back because this is annoying.
Okay.
Right.
All
I'd
right.
say, she should definitely log out of the other device for sure.
Yeah, I did that too. It cost him interference.
Oh, yeah. So sorry about that, everybody. She's just having some technical difficulties there. She'll be right back.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go on to the first topic, which, okay, so you know how I like doing situations and everything. So this is something I actually been on both sides because, I'm a foodie. So I've been, like right now, I'm at the second biggest I've ever been. And I've been probably maybe about 10 more pounds heavier. And then I've lost weight. I've been almost 60 pounds lighter than I am now. So this is the situation. Let me pull up my graphics.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not. Okay, we're good now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let me read to you her situation, Miss James and Miss Monique. Pull this up here. Okay. So this is Monique. When James met her, she was a size 20 and 350 pounds, as seen on the left. At the time he met her, she was nice, she was successful, and even took him out on a date, and she paid for it, drinks and all. James didn't find her attractive because of her weight and even told her so nicely. 5 years later, James bumps into Monique as seen on the right, and now he is highly attracted. And remember how kind and accommodating she was, still is. Now, the first question is, I'm gonna kind of venture off a little bit from what they asked. Number one, I want to know, do you guys feel James was shallow for not allowing her a chance because she was overweight? And then would you give a person a second chance after you slim down, if in fact they first turned you down for being overweight? Like, I've been on both
I'll
sides.
go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because this situation is basically me. Because I've lost about 180 pounds.
Woo!
So,
Go ahead.
I wouldn't be offended. It happens to me every day. Every day somebody is in my inbox or, send me a message or something about trying to connect. And they didn't even give me the time of day back in the day. Never. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't think, because love isn't always blind. I mean, people, I wanted to lose weight so I could feel better about myself and not necessarily be more appealing to the opposite sex. But I understand that I am a little bit more visually appealing now than I was 180 pounds plus ago. So no, I don't feel, it depends on how the rejection went down too. Because that is a
Because they said he was nice. They said he was nice.
Okay, well, I wouldn't be offended. And if I was still interested and attracted to him and single, I would probably entertain, a date or two and see where it went. But no, I wouldn't be offended. But I think the overall thing would be for me is how it happened. Was he rude? Did he try to fat shame me back in the day? Was he one of the people that teased me? And now in the inbox, wink. So it depends on that. But no, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Why are you shaking your head?
Hell to the no, to the no, to the no, no, no. Because I feel like at the end of the day, whether I'm 250, whether I'm 270, I am still the same person. And who I am on the inside, my heart, my mind, I'm still the same person. So if you were so shallow that you couldn't look beyond that to see who I am, because what if when you get older, like you're not gonna stay the same forever. You're not gonna always be. What if you don't? What if something happens? Because my thing is this: if you didn't like because I was plus size, and then when I slimmed down, now you want me to be your eye candy. Like I feel like, okay, if we got together, then what's the chances of you leaving me if I fall ill? Like I'm just not feeling that. I'm not feeling. And I am plus size. So I just feel like in my mind, I'm just like, if you can't see me and appreciate, and I was small. When I met my husband, I was small. And a little bit smaller, but all the way through, like he didn't feel no type of way. When I gained the weight, like it bothered me. And yes, I wish I was smaller, but he still looked beyond and love me for my heart. Like I have a problem with that. I have a problem with somebody who sees your outer and can't. So you don't even want to get to know me. You don't give a damn about me. You just all about what I look like.
Well,
okay, all right. So I'm going to have to jump in and play devil's advocate. So he said that he was nice. Dude said that he was nice. So let's say you got this person who, and I met these people in the gay community. Everybody wants to be a fitness fanatic. So they're into this healthy lifestyle. They're vegan. These are their values. Eating healthy, blah, 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 blah. They're wrong for not wanting to be with somebody who shares those same values?
No, they're not wrong for no. That's not. I didn't. No, they're not wrong if those are your values. But if you saw me when I was plus size and you didn't date me because I was plus size, so then when I lost weight, you don't know how I got there. You don't even know how I got there. You don't know if I lost it. If I lost it, if I had surgery, you don't know how I got there.
It don't matter. It don't even matter.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't to you. Maybe it doesn't to you, but to me, I just feel like you have not invested enough into my heart and into me to see beyond that. Like you're very shallow. I just feel like that's very.
Keep that mindset. Keep that mindset. Let me throw this wrench in there. So, what about the guy who says, should I be with a girl who now likes me that I drive a Tesla and I moved from my 1-bedroom modest apartment into a multi-million-dollar house in a prominent area? You know how you raise kids to go after these men. Don't go after no bum. You go after X, Y, and Z. Isn't that the same thing?
Nope.
You weren't with this guy when he was struggling trying to make it. He was in the working 3-4 jobs. Y'all was singing Scrub back then to him.
Well, I'm not, because my husband, when I met my husband, he was cutting tobacco. So, I mean, I was in high school. We was in high school. He was cutting tobacco. He worked at Wendy's. I worked at Arby's. And that's just that. That's just what it is. And we grew together. So, I mean, I don't necessarily want to say that, I'm not going to give, because everybody what is your situation? Are you trying to do better? Like if you just living off your mom or whatever the case may be, and you're not trying to do nothing. And I saw you last year and you still on the same mess this year. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's truth to that. If they, depending on where their life was at, if they definitely aren't making any changes. But I think to his point, if they all of a sudden are making all those changes and then now you're in the inbox, I think, it's similar, with that shallowness. I'll just say what I think people kind of forget is it's always them guys that aren't that attractive in the first place who are pointing out how ugly and how big a girl is or a guy, like, oh yeah, I don't date nobody. They got to be 125, and whatever it is. And I'm all like, and you look at their profile pic and you like, that's the biggest beer belly I've ever seen. You might as well be, you might as well be pregnant. You talking about this other person's weight,
Yeah, but I believe there's somebody for everybody, and people, have their preferences. So as far as the materialistic part, I don't agree with that at all, because that person, whether they had a Tesla or a Honda, were the same person as far as who they were, as an individual. So I don't agree with that. But just like what Shanika was saying, I just feel like when you meet people and you see them for the first time, there has to be some degree of attraction for you to even get into wanting to know who they are as a person. I mean, it's not like you were classmates. You were in situations and settings where you were exposed to their personality, how they were as a person, and this evolved. I'm talking about when you walking down the street or you're in the mall and you see somebody, if you're not attracted to that type of person, then you're not giving them time of day. And unfortunately,
that wasn't the question. The question was, he knew her. They went on a date when she was plus size. So that's like saying you met a guy when you were plus size and y'all went out, you took him out on a date, and then he wasn't attracted to you because of your size. Then you lost 150 pounds, you said, and now he come back and he's like, hey, show that. Like, no.
He shouldn't have went on the date because he wasn't attracted. He shouldn't have went on the date because he wasn't attracted to her in the beginning. So he shouldn't have went on a date.
Was he trying to get that free meal? Was it a lobster dinner? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, in that case, I'm asking.
I've been trying to see if he could work because she was so nice. But then, like you said, Chanel, you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
Maybe he was trying. Maybe he went on a date.
Yeah.
To try, and it didn't work.
So would you date if that happened to you? Would you still give him a chance after you lost the weight or whatever? Would you still be like, if he's like, hey, let's go out?
I would strongly consider it. Because I give people permission to like who they like and be what they are.
But and I mean, still the same person. You are still the same person.
But he never got an opportunity to see that because. Okay,
plus
I don't date big dudes. I don't date big dudes. I'm they approach me all the time.
That's your preference.
But what I'm trying to say is, if in fact down the line I run into somebody and he's done switched it up, that don't make me a bad person because now I'm attracted to you. You made some changes,
right? Exactly.
There's truth to that. But I still say you should leave them in the past.
Well, it's nothing wrong with you having attraction. The next question is, should he go out on a date with you?
He should. Yes.
Look, I don't know. I think you should leave it in the past. Like, let's look at some of these comments because the comments have been on fire.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we need to go all the way back up. Okay, so Will. Okay, but did you answer it?
Oh yeah, Will, what's your answer?
Around it. Like I said, I've been on both sides. And I'm a little less than sensitive when I just tell you it's just not going to work. So if it's a weight issue, you just don't get a call back. But I've been in a situation where they've done it to me, and I've had, like I said, in the gay lifestyle, fitness and all those stereotypes, going to the gym, all that's true. So fat shaming, age shaming is high and predominant in my community. So I'm used to it. And that's why I struggle with weight now. That's why I have a huge insecurity over weight. So I probably would go out with them, and then I would dump them on my own, just so that I can get the upper hand. And I disagree with you that you are that same person, because usually when you lose weight, and I know there's always an exception to the rule, usually there's a transformation. That confidence and everything boosts up when you are.
There is a transformation.
You still have the same heart. You are still
you don't go out. You don't see nobody's heart when you go on a date with them.
And that's half the problem, because everybody sees what they see, and it's like, I'm attracted to what I see. And then years down the line, it's like, oh, I don't really like you. No, because you wanted to see what you saw.
That when you first encounter somebody, you encounter them with your eyes. You don't encounter them with your heart. You go
and
on
that's what I'm saying.
To learn their heart.
Right.
No. Okay. I understand. I understand the attraction, but my it's a hard damn no for me. Okay.
Okay. I would say I would go back out. I would go back out with them. I mean, because I would understand. I understand
that I may not be your type, because I mean, I've seen people that have encountered that. I understand that I'm not your type. But would I once I get small, or once, I don't know. It's just a let's read comments, because it's just.
Well, I feel like this. I wasn't attracted to my own self 180 pounds ago. I don't blame you, and I'm sure. I'm sure
that part exactly.
The person in this story agrees with me on that. So I mean, whew, I'm
silhouette challenge, and I was like, child, no.
Now before we read these. Before we read these comments, just to throw another wrench in there, what if you lose weight and you still not attractive?
Beauty in the eye of the beholder.
Just because you lose the weight, it doesn't give you the self-confidence. It doesn't give you the self-confidence even after you lose the weight. Because what if you still have, like, I have arms, I need to get that removed. I have this, I need to get that removed. You still may be having some extra skin, you need to get that removed. So you ain't really comfortable getting naked in front of nobody. Like, it's just a lot of variables to this thing. I don't know. But it was to be a hard no for me. Robin says, kick him to the curb the second time. He wasn't trying, child. Amy says, to try what? Shelly says, leave him in the rear. Amy says, what if down the line you get weight again, then what?
Yep.
John says, sound like confidence is also a factor. Tawanda says, people are surface, it's human nature. Dorothy says, it's a hard no for me too. Shelly said, Amir, she's laughing at you. And Amy says, no second chance. I personally would not go out with him, never. I mean, I don't know. It is okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly though, this goes back into my top, like, I think when it comes to attention and what it is that people are really looking for, for me, it kind of speaks to Chloe Bailey. And if you're not familiar with her, she's with her sister Halle, and Beyonce endorsed them, and they have a hit song out right now. So they're real popular, and Chloe has gotten on the social media by herself. Before they had a joint account, and now she's on there. She's done the silhouette challenge, she's done the bust it challenge, she's done all types of things, and the backlash has been serious. Now she's a celebrity. I'm talking,
it's been major. Yeah,
thousands and thousands of people following that love her, and the hate is real. I mean, obviously she's getting support, but the question is, when are we going to allow Black women to express themselves? Like, what do you guys think? Is she seeking attention, or is it really just her expressing herself and just having fun, being a young woman, you know, expressing herself?
I love her. She has 1.9 million followers on Instagram. She's athletic. I mean, she can move her body. And I just think she's celebrating freedom of expression. I mean, there was this Instagram post that she put up a couple weeks ago that she was literally in tears over the backlash that she's getting for expressing herself. No one asked anybody to follow Chloe Bailey. She didn't ask for followers. So she's a young woman. She's beautiful. You know, I think she's expressing herself. I haven't seen her do anything that will warrant the backlash and that she's getting. I mean, these things are downright cruel. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Now, is it because she's going outside of the image that they try to portray? What is the backlash coming from? What are they saying?
Well, she was in her underwear. Well, so she did the busted challenge first, and then she was in her underwear, and she was lighting sage, and she was saying that she's 22, first of all, and she was just basically saying that people were just coming from her because they couldn't believe she was in her underwear in her room, and she was like, it was just for a second. I just came in there. So
it's not their image of what they had of her perception.
Right. Yeah. And she was like, I'm really at a place where I am confident with myself. I'm confident in who I am. So maybe she struggled because she said she had low self-esteem for a while. And so she's overcoming that. And so for her, I think she just felt like she needed to come out and defend herself, which she really didn't. And I think that that's the problem with a lot of people, that's feeling like they need to defend who they are and what they are trying to do. And I just think that people are going to talk, and people, you know, in this the world that we're in, if people can feel like they can play a part in your emotional setting or mental setting, you know, or take a toll on that part of you, then they will. So I just feel like, you know, let her be who she is. She's 22. She's having a good time. I mean, and I've seen worse, and that's what she said. She's like, because I went to the video and she was like, I just had on a pair of underwear. She's like, I feel like I've shown more in my concerts. So you all,
I agree.
And you know, and that's what she said. She's like, I think y'all just, you know, it's too much because I've done more and shown more in my videos versus what, and I'm just, and she actually had on, and maybe people thought she didn't have on any underwear because they blended in with her skin tone.
Yeah, they were new. Yeah, they were new colors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what people thought or whatever, but anyway.
I think so many people they think that what they see as far as entertaining, what is the name of it? Whitney Houston, This Is Me. It's on Netflix. And it was just talking about the persona that Clive Davis built for her. Whitney was nothing of like I always see her as being this classy superstar, but Whitney was hood as they come. And he built this image of her that it was so hard for her to keep up. So when people found out she was doing drugs, which she basically did throughout her whole career, it was so hard for them to believe it. So I don't know if whoever created this Chloe and whatever her face is, you know, she's getting out of it early. She's trying to say, this is me, accept me for who I am. And I applaud her for doing that, because so many people get lost in this false reality that people try to create for them just for the sake of fame. And I think that's really sad about it.
Yeah, and to me, you know, I think it would be different if she was like, I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't famous, but her and her sister, when I first had heard of them, they were doing YouTube videos where they were just covering songs, but they were younger. That, of course, that's innocent. Of course, they weren't. They were just singing. That's it. Then they got discovered, and I think then I saw them on Grownish or Blackish or one of those shows. And that's it. Like, I haven't seen her have a whole full-on Disney child career, you know, where I'm expecting them to not do anything like Miley Cyrus or something, you know? Like, they had immediately burst into fame from YouTube. And now, I think just now we're getting to know her. Obviously, we don't know her like that. I'm looking at it like, let her do whatever she wants. Like, all the stuff out here. And now we have a new person to pick on. I think it's...
Yeah, really. I mean, she said a lot. If you get an opportunity to go back and listen to the video and listen to her video, then I highly suggest that you do, because she said, you know, I'm getting used to my cellulite. I'm getting used to my stretch marks. I'm getting used to these things about my body. And so, you know, and I think that, you know, at 22, you're going through different phases. You know, it's like, okay, I'm working out, I'm not working out, I'm eating whatever. Whatever you go, your body goes through all these many different phases. So, and I'm just in it, and it starts so young. Like some of these young ladies, it starts so young with them having this low self-esteem already. And I'm like, you have many, 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 many years to go. And it's like you're already going through this. It's like it's too much. It's really just too much. So
yeah, and I agree with what Will and Amir was pointing to, is that Will said that she's getting out of it early. And Amir said, he mentioned that, they started years ago and they were teenagers, so they shouldn't really know herself and probably even her body. But I don't think she want to get sucked down this hole that a lot of child stars get sucked down, where they're still pretending to be a kid at 30 years old. I mean, you're a developing woman.
Well, and that's just like, her, and also the young lady, JoJo CY, I think, like she's 17, 18, 19 or something like that, 17, 18, and they still are, her team is still dressing her like she's 11 or 12, and she's flopping around. And then just the other day she came out and said that she was a lesbian, and so they're trying to keep building this persona. And I think she's trying to phase herself out of it, because how long am I supposed to play a 12-year-old little girl or 11-year-old and all the little girls like me? Like, how long are you all expecting for me to just like, did you say Miley Cyrus? Did you say Miley Cyrus?
Yeah, I said Miley Cyrus. Like, she had a slightly different trajectory because we did see her as a child star per se. And I mean, obviously her father is famous. And I would just say for this particular one, another interesting thing are the people around her who know her in real life. Example, her sister. And her sister was like, Hallie, she was like, if you knew her, you would know that she was already about this life. And what I'm talking about is her artistic expression, where some people are like, where did this come from? And it's like, well, she didn't have her own Instagram. She wasn't posting all of these photos for everyone to see. Then when she decided to, now all of a sudden you're saying she switched up, but there was nothing to compare.
It really isn't a change.
Right.
This is who she was anyway. So I mean, I welcome it. Thank you. So let's look at so there was this meme going around social media asking if could you as a woman ever date a man or marry a man who made less than you? And not less for a period of time or like a brief moment where he may have been unemployed, but forever. Like, this is just what it was going to be. Could you do it? Or a spouse, could you do it? So some people thinking I could.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what everyone in the comments has to say. I mean, obviously, I don't have to worry. I'm not dating any men, so I'm not.
Could you, if your wife made more?
Well, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, yes, I definitely could do it, and as long as there's something that I'm contributing, I think that'd be all right.
Not I said the cat.
you on some. You going? Wow.
I'm on it. Still on it. Yep.
Look, I don't blame you.
You want to? That's fine.
But okay, so you feel like you have to be the breadwinner. You have to be the one making the most. Do you think that the person who makes the most is the one who calls the shots, or is it just put you at a different?
Not even that deep. Very shallow, very surface level with me. That's just me. I just have provider instinct.
Okay.
I'm a provider. All my exes say if they say anything about this, he's an excellent provider.
So providing with money, or like, is that all? I mean, but you provide more than that.
I mean, sex, you're saying, yeah, that too, but I'm talking about financials. That's what we're talking about. Stay with the subject.
I didn't say that shit. You
Wait, Amy, hold on. Let me rephrase the question for Amy, because Amy was like, what was the question? The question was, could you ever marry a man or a spouse that made less than you did, and not just for a brief moment in time, but it was going to always be that way? Could you do it? So what do you think, Will, the hang up is? Well, you just answered the question, that you have that provider instinct.
And I've tried to date people who were older than me, who had money, and I did for a while, but it just, for something, it just did not feel right. It didn't feel right.
Okay, but wait. Okay, so when you say, okay, so because I'm just trying to understand when you say makes more money, is it just on paper makes more money, or I'm paying the bills? Like, even though you're making more money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're taking care of things.
I was kept.
Well, okay, so are you keeping someone? I mean, like, I don't.
No, I mean, I'm keeping somebody. What's your name?
What?
The person usually that makes the most in a good relationship, they take on most of the financial pressure. I mean, I'm sure there's an exchange, but the person who pretty much for Willis, Jan, I thought you were my friend. That is not. It's not a control factor. It's not. It fulfills an internal gratification just to know that I've taken care of my family, and that's how I do it. Other people, they may need to be the nurturer, just to make sure that you're okay, the kid's okay. That fulfills that need. For me, it's to provide, to make sure that my family's okay. That's the need that it fulfills.
So my mom there, what if you became more successful than your husband? Would you get a divorce?
If he became more successful than me?
You became more successful.
Oh, yeah. So, well, I mean, I think she's asking in general, but yes, in your situation.
Well, this is what's going to happen with that, which is good. I will make sure that never happens. It will be, he will push me.
I heard you had an interview.
He will push me to be greater and greater and greater. I wouldn't leave, no, but he would. That if I see him doing that, which I can see that, and as a matter of fact, I had that thought in the car when we were talking about his degrees. I was like, oh shit, that could actually lead. Oh man,
right. And actually,
I feel like Justin is a provider. I feel like that's the role in which he wants to be. Like, I feel like
he's a caretaker.
Now, for me, that's really it. My wife has a law degree, and I did the same calculation. Like, she's going to be making more money than me at some point. And it's hard not to feel like there could be a competition or other people outside of the relationship should judge. But I'm definitely not going to try and stop her progress. That
doesn't make you want to do more.
It makes me want to do more for sure. I definitely am like, I got to get more, even I'm not saying that she shouldn't try, like she should definitely go for it. But then also I have to be clear about that as well.
That has nothing to do with the other person. It just, for me, is that it puts fire up under me to want to do better. Instead of just being complacent, I'll say, okay, I've gotten to this level. I'm good. I'm chill because I'm fine. But seeing that person elevate is just going to put fire from me. Okay. Dude, what else can you do? Is he looking for that door? Close the door, please, sir. I'm gonna sit there. Thank you. I felt something open. Close the door, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. She also says provide control. It's okay, Will. It's a good thing. Amy says, as long as he is working, we are both happy. I don't see a problem.
Ouch. He has something that he wants to say to the
audience. Okay, wait a minute. Leah says, throughout relationships, things can switch up. Beyonce makes more than Jay-Z.
No, Beyonce don't.
Beyonce says that's an ego.
In a way.
It does make me feel insecure.
It does. Now that may be a guy thing. It may be a guy thing. What you got to say?
Can I also think it matters the amount? Like, if both of us are making six figures, it's still making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a 30,000, 100,000 split. So I think it matters the amount. It should anyway.
Okay, Justin, what you got to say?
Oh, he got something to say?
Justin. Hey, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
How y'all doing?
Don't mess up my background.
I need to hear from some men. If some men are up here, please come in and say, Merrick was up here. Merrick, what do you think? Okay, go ahead.
So I do agree with Will. I am more of a caretaker, making sure people okay, everything else. Finances, that's his part, 9 times out of 10. I like to spin. He makes sure stuff is paid on time, which I make sure stuff is paid on time. But with the finances, I'd be like, this needs to be paid on this day, blah, blah, blah. He makes sure the bills are paid when I tell him they need to be paid on time. But as far as the nurturing, the caretaking, making sure the house is clean, this, that, making sure people are okay, that's my part of the job.
I don't have
Did you automatically kind of fall into that role?
Yes. Well, we sat down and talked about it. Now, I know he don't have the patience as far as being caretaking. Like if he's sick, I know that's my job to take care of him. Because I know if I'm sick,
I'm gonna bring you something.
Yeah, he gonna bring me something. He don't have
I know.
Like, man, his mama got real good patience. I guess because we work in the nursing field, we have those patients. But with him,
Thank you.
Okay. I mean, my husband is the financial person. But he's still a caretaker too, though. He still has caretaker, but he's the financial. I mean, he pays the bill, and I knew that wasn't my role because when it came down, when he would go out to sea, he would like, "Babe, you paid this late." I was like, "Cause I gotta write a check. If you expected for me to sit down for 5 minutes to write a check, you'll always be late." So the day came out with online banking. I was the first one to sign. I'm like, oh yeah. And when I told him, I was like, "Babe, you got to go online and pay your bill." He resisted it so much because he did not want to go online and pay his bill. I was like, it takes 2 seconds to do it and you were done. I was like, because if you want me to pay a bill while you gone and not all the bills be late, by the time we get all these late fees, it has to be a better way because I cannot sit down and write out no check. But anyway, but it was still his money at the end of the day.
Now, interesting though, when he brought that up, I realized something like I said, my wife could make so much more money than me, and I'd probably still have to handle and I'm not saying she can't handle finances. She's very, very she keeps tabs on everything, but I'm like, okay, we got to pay this on this day. I made a whole spreadsheet for all the finances, Excel. I would be happy. I'd be comfortable as long as I could keep track of everything, and be like, this is how much we're paying here. This is, loans, whatever it is. Just we got everything handled, but I'm the one, she's looking to me to do that. Taxes, she's looking to me like, can you do the tax? Did you do the taxes yet? No questions asked. So I guess maybe that's really where the focus should be instead of the literal dollar amount.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. So moving on along. So I want to talk about Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and the perceptions that they bring. And I did not put the picture up there, but anyway, so it's a picture that's going around. One of them in Cardi B's video up, and then in Meg Thee Stallion's video, Crybaby. And in the video, in Cardi B's video, she has her hair and she has all these baby doll heads inside of her hair. And then Meg Thee Stallion in her Crybaby video, she has these balls in, and then she's looking like she's sucking her thumb. So my question with all that is, it's adult content, it's children content, because with the video with Meg Thee Stallion, they are paying, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Homage. Okay. To Toy Story. Okay, so it's all done in a dollhouse. It starts off in a toy store, but then when you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's like, this is all nasty, like real nasty. So my question is it mixed messages? Is it giving, and yes, adults and parents should be monitoring the music that their kids are listening to, but is it sending mixed messages? Is it soliciting to the youth in like a negative sexual way?
What would you expect from those two? Those aren't two people that you come from to learn any type of morality issues, are they?
Well, no, not at all. But
so the Toy Story is definitely a gimmick for the video or whatever they were in. No, I don't think they're sending a mixed message. They're right on tone for their brand. Now, if you go to Oprah, if Oprah was doing that, then yeah, that's a mixed message. But not with Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Body, yada, yada. Oh.
Okay, I'm just imagining that Oprah.
I hate that song.
I love that song.
It just bothers me that it's a look of, because there's not. I mean, back in the day. So when I'm comparing it, and I'm thinking about the music back in the day, you know, the only song that really comes to me, like, I mean, of course we had NWA, which was just like, but it was censored. Like you couldn't, I remember going to Walmart and going to the music store and it was censored. Like you couldn't buy that unless you was like 18 or something. You had to have somebody there. You couldn't buy that. And then it was like, and then they had like the uncut version and then the censored version, or the censored and then the what is it?
Like the radio edit version and
right.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, you know, it's not even like you can hear the radio edited on the radio, but then it's just like you could just walk in and get it, and there's no, you know, or download it or whatever, and there's no type of filter or nothing on it. And so it's just, I don't know, I'm just bothered by it. I'm just bothered. I mean, like
the digital age. You don't have to go to the store to buy those anymore.
And yeah, but anyway,
like way back then in NWA, like you had to say back then. We're
right. I mean, it's weird how long.
As Dorothy said, the worst, not even the worst. Like some of the words, like I had to look up. Well, like, but the worst you got was Prince. Was it Nikki? What was the name?
Darling Nikki.
What is it called?
Darling Nikki.
Yes, like that was, like I think it was the worst it got. You know, like when I was looking, it was like Candy Girl, because I'm thinking like 80s, 90s. That was like that's the era in which I was in. So it was like it didn't really get no harder than that. Like I remember one song, and I can't even think who sang. It was like "You're Rift All Over Me," and I had to look that word up because I didn't really know what that meant. So I was like,
well, I mean, it's not a, you know, new that music has evolved over the last years. That, you know, it's just more explicit in general nowadays. I just feel like we all know it. Parents need to step in. I mean, it's out there, and they're being true to their aesthetic. It's like, you know, going to the park or going to the strip club. You know, where you gonna get your children to go? So I don't particularly agree, but I just would filter it for my children. You know,
right? I wouldn't want my nieces to look at that and be like, oh, let's listen to this song, and then we're talking in the song is saying, oh, we're gonna do it with no rubber, and we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, just because she got on baubles does not mean that this is whatever, and just because she have dolls in her hair doesn't mean that this is whatever. So I mean, and it's not, I just think that I'm like, just stick to adult, just make an adult look, like just keep it adults, like just, you know, that's just
I'm curious then. If that's the issue in 2021, what would you, it's 21, right? Yeah. 2021, what would you suggest the solution be? Realistically. Are
y'all there?
With technology and everything as it is, what would you say a logical solution would be?
I mean, in this world, it's about, I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, but listening to Asia, because she is in marketing and branding, you know, and her breaking down how they market to people and what they're marketing and how it is. I get it. I get it to a degree. Like, okay, I know you have to pull this situation, but when you're in a toy store and when you're in a dollhouse, you're breaking down the sacredness of what a dollhouse is to me. Like a dollhouse is like where little girls are playing dolls in this dollhouse, and now you humping on the ground. The baby is up there, and he's all like, "I'm going," you know. I'm just like,
so because I too have my master's is in marketing as well. So let me ask you this: what are you doing about that video that you're seeing? You're doing what? You're giving what to it?
Views.
Well, I went to because I hadn't.
You're giving publicity to it.
But I went to look at the video, and I actually didn't know. Today was the first day that I saw the video because I was.
Yeah, but it's done what it was supposed to do. You're talking about it.
Well, yes, it did do what it was supposed to do.
That's why they chose the dollhouse instead of being on stage or in a car. They chose the dollhouse because it was going to ruffle some feathers, and people were going to go watch that video.
Right. I mean, to me, right. I think what my wife is saying about how, you know, what you talked about, Toy Story, kind of like toys, and we don't know Meg's whole story or Cardi's whole story, but it seems like it'd be more nostalgia, you know, and especially nowadays, 90s kids are really going through a nostalgia kind of situation that we're all turning 30. and they're doing all sorts of stuff to market toward those kind of people. And to me, that's the perfect age range. I mean, I know Toy Story 4 came out, but I mean, it's the fourth movie. You know, those movies are targeted toward these kind of people. And I would say with this music video, you know, we could say that it could be kind of like dangerous, like a kid could see it on YouTube and say, "Oh, this looks like it's kid friendly," but I'm just like, nope, they know what they're getting into, and they see Cardi B's name and Meg Thee Stallion, they can read. And to me, it goes all the way back to when I was watching BET, and you know, I started singing "Back That Ass Up," and my mom was like, "Where did you see that?" And next thing you know, couldn't watch BET no more. So, you know, that wasn't marketed to kids, but I definitely wanted to see what they were talking about, and I didn't even really know what it was about. Honestly, I did not know what they were really talking about. But it was catchy. That's all I could say, man.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Okay. So we're gonna go into. I wanted to say something else on that, but we'll come back to that topic another day because I think there's another angle that we can take with that. Okay, so Kim Kardashian and Kanye. So they had been, I think it was you, Shanika, who had pointed out that they had been living apart for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So she finally filed for divorce last week, and everything is pretty amicable. They agreed on the co-parenting agreement. They're going to both have joint legal and physical custody. And as far as the assets, they were all split. So there's been no drama at all. But, you know, things started last year when he kind of went on this erratic behavior tirade thing when he announced he was running for president. And then he had some type of fit at a rally when he was talking basically about, he said, even if my wife wants to divorce me after this speech, she brought North, which is their first child, into the world even when I didn't want to, he said. He said she stood up and she protected her child. A lot of people that are close to her are saying that was like the final straw for her because he revealed something that was that public and that private. And she kind of caught some flack from it. So my question to you guys is, excuse me, she said that finally filing for divorce was very painful for her because she regretted that they couldn't find a way to stay married, but that marriage takes two, and Kanye didn't want to compromise. So whether it's for you guys, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a job, anything that's important to you, when do you know it's time to say goodbye? When do you know you've had the final straw?
For me, it's if I can't get over it. Because I believe if you're gonna stay with somebody, you have to be able to forgive them, get over it. You can't harbor that. You can't keep bringing it up. If I can't let it go, whatever it is, I can't be in that relationship, friendship, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
I just wouldn't feel free. Like I will always feel bound by whatever it was. So.
Yeah.
So would you go like if it's a relationship, would you go to counseling or?
I would try everything.
You would try everything, but if you can't get over it, then.
Right, because I feel like everybody makes mistakes and everybody deserves happiness. And I couldn't give them the happiness they desire or deserve if I can't get over an offense.
Right.
They're entitled to be with somebody who can be free with them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if I can't, I'll try everything. If I can't move past, then I would get out of the relationship. They deserve better, and actually, so do I.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, to me, I definitely agree there. I mean, you try and do what you can to save it. And I think for Kanye, and I don't think Kanye didn't have any other kids. So I'm like, to me, they started this family together, and they both were in high profile relationships before they met. They got into a relationship themselves, and then their marriage was in the public eye. And I'm like, for me, I mean, sure, my family might say something about my marriage, or my in-laws might have something to say, but it's just them. I'm not really worried about 1 million followers, saying that I'm crazy or anything like that. But I just think, just regular problems, therapy, really talking it out and having a third party to really sit there and go, hey, you were wrong, or how about this, can really help with a relationship to keep it strong. So I would say, as long as that's not your first option, man, he didn't even take the dishes out the dishwasher. It's over. That's different than, a very valid issue that you can solve through talking it out.
Right. What do you say, Shanika?
Well, I just think that Kanye has just been on this really major spiral ever since his mother had passed away. And I just feel like, when he made the decision to get with Kim, or they made the decision to get together, I think it was good probably at first. And then just things started to go. And I think that they both have, it's a lot of control there. I think it's just a lot of control there. And I'm not really surprised that they're splitting up in a sense, because I just think that it was just still a lot of pull for some control, and it just probably just became too much for her probably and her family, and it's just like it's time to let it go.
But in your own life, I'm asking, when do you know when it's time to let things go?
Well.
Or do you know?
I mean, well, you know what? I don't really find myself getting at this point. I don't really find myself getting into relationships, because first, like if people say stuff out the way to me, like I'm still having you at arm's distance. So I'm not really one to form all these relationships with people, because I feel like I have in my circle who I need to be in my circle. And so I'm not quick to be forming relationships with people. Now, the people that are in my circle, I feel like if I can't say what I need to say to you and we still be friends after I say what I need to say to you and you say what you need to say to me, we was never friends to begin with.
Right.
So I'm too old to be accepting a whole bunch of new friends. No.
Yeah, I think that the last straw for her was the situation after dealing with all this mental health and his antics, was that he publicly said that he didn't want the child. That probably was the last straw.
Yeah.
And thinking about paternity, with paternity in mind, the state of Tennessee is now proposing a bill where fathers can basically veto abortion.
Yeah. I don't know why that wasn't a law to begin with, but okay. Because if they can keep them and then you can make them pay for child support, then right.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So and also they can establish paternity without the mother's consent. Well, it's not in stone yet, but it's a bill proposal. So I think that that's going in the right direction as far as men's rights, because I feel that men have been overlooked as far as the paternity situation for ages. I agree.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I have a different take. I do not think that the father should have the ability to veto that decision. And I mean, now there are circumstances to that. I mean, I think that there should be a consultation. But to just be able to veto it no matter what, especially since maybe not. Is it clarifying that they are to be married? Is he a husband? In which case, we all know that marriage has very specific legal protections, because if they're a married unit and the wife just says, nope, I don't want the child. I mean, we could talk about that as they're supposed to be a family unit. But if they're not married, I can't even imagine the amount of complications that will cause when there's an unwanted pregnancy and the man can just say, yep, she has to keep it no matter what, no matter the danger to the woman's health or, how the baby was made, because it could be by a forced encounter, if you know what I mean. So I'm wary of putting that into law, just myself.
Okay.
But what about all the times that women have babies and fathers don't want the children and they have them anyway? Then they're bound to take care of them for 18 years and they had no say so.
Now there are ways for a man to get out of that. Honestly, they run away. They keep a low profile. They just don't pay. And then they're threatened with jail time.
They won't get their stimulus check.
Yeah, they won't get. Okay, right? But
They'll find
Yeah, it to be that woman wouldn't be pregnant without that man. And I've heard stories where they're like, oh well, he should have been clear, or if he was clear at the beginning, then that's not fair. But I'm all like, if I was clear at the beginning that I don't want any kids, then I'm using protection. I'm probably not even gonna have sex with you, honestly, if I'm not trying to have no kids.
Yeah.
So I think you run the risk, and every man should be well aware of that. You're running the risk of having a child if you have sex, unless you get a vasectomy. So, and even then, I think there's like a small percentage there, right? So I just think
it's really
That's true.
wow. We have some comments. Shirley said, "Don't veto what you're not willing to take care of," which brings another point. If a man veto it, then maybe he's saying that he wants full custody. Maybe the woman can sign over her rights. You know, I mean, I just feel like men have been pushed to the side with this whole pregnancy and baby situation, and a lot of times they're put in situations where they really didn't have any say so at the end of the day. So,
right.
But I think if a man goes to I would like to think that if a man goes to the extent to veto a pregnancy of someone, that he is really wanting to be in this child's life, and he is really wanting to take care of this child. And I think that at that point he would be willing, you know, it's like sign the child over to me, you know, in this circumstance. I just feel like if a person is going to that extent, they are really wanting this child. They are really wanting to be in this child's life. They, you know, I just feel like that. So I just think that when people go to those extents and follow through, I feel like that's what they really want to do. They really want to take care of their responsibilities and things like that. But
we'll see what happens in Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep watching out for that one. But talk about responsibilities. So my next topic is about being a protector. And the story that I had was this young lady. It was out of New York, I think, and she was outside, and this guy groped her, and then she went inside, told her boyfriend. They came outside. The guy who groped her shot the both of them. She died, and her boyfriend did not. So my question to you all is, to what extent are you protecting your significant other? Like, where does that do? Is there a line drawn? And I'm gonna tell you another story. And this is my husband and I had this conversation. And it's many levels in protecting the heart and protecting the mind and protecting your spouse's, your significant other's or spouse's peace. And all ways of protecting. Okay, so I can't tell you where it happened because I just can't tell you. I can't tell you, but it was my husband. So we were getting some food, and I was talking to the person who was selling us the food, and I was going to pay cash, didn't have enough cash, and my husband went to pass the guy the credit card. So the guy snatches the credit card out of my husband's hand. So by this time, I have the food in my hand. So my daughter is behind me, and she says, "Did he just snatch that out of Dad's hand?" And I was like, you know what? Matter of fact, hand me back the card. So when he handed me the card, I took the food and I chucked it back at him. And so then he took the food and threw it, and it hit some people behind me, right? But
I wish there was a video.
But I couldn't let my husband handle it because of where we were. So I had to handle it. And then when we got to the car, I had to apologize because I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay. And it's just like, I'm laughing at that story. But anyway, but I felt like I was like, just have my bail money just in case I go to jail, because that's all I need you to do, because you can't go to jail. I'll go to jail, just have my bail money. But anyway, is there a level or is there a point where you draw the line of being, your mama is not a savage. Don't say that. The extent in which you protect your significant other?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a male female thing either in 2021. That's
No,
one
not
thing
at all.
about being. Yeah. Mm-mm. Don't touch mine. Don't touch mine. I won't touch yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I am with it, And I told my husband, because I was talking to my husband, I was like, if you arguing with a female, like, I'm not gonna let you argue with her.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna be like, he was like, so what, we gonna walk away? I was like, no, I mean, I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like, you're not gonna talk to him crazy. Like, no, like you not, you not. But I'm just like, in protecting, it's like, is it a point of like, okay, how far is this going to go? Do you draw the line when it's like, okay, we're going to walk away because this is getting ready to turn ugly? Like, is there a line to be drawn?
I think so.
I mean, I think as always you want to de-escalate the issue and try to withdraw if you can. If you come down to blows, I'm not going to sit there and watch you get your ass beat. No.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, that's the bottom line of the thing. You're right.
Yeah.
So what do y'all
also
is there an extent in which you go? Do you? I mean, obviously, yeah. And I was good in that situation until my daughter said, "Did he just snatch that out of Dad's hand?"
Oh,
and then it just triggered my whole.
She was egging it on. Okay.
Wait, say it again.
She was egging it on.
It was just a statement, and it just like I don't even know what happened after that. All I know was the man behind me cussed out the people. There's some more people cussed out the people, and I just walked away. I was just like, "Well, come on, y'all." And then
rallies. You must be at rallies. Were you at rallies?
No, I can't tell you where it was.
It looks like my wife agrees with you, Shanika. There.
Okay, Fabian says, "I'll throw some blows. I'm that way with all people I care about, but I definitely don't let it go to out of hand."
And that's what I was saying. We're going to try to avoid hospitals. We're going to try to avoid jail and cemeteries. But aside from that, we got to make it known that you have crossed the line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And to me, it also depends on where it's at. I don't want nobody fighting in my house. Like
outside.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was somewhere where my husband could have gotten, like, he could have, like, somebody could have pulled him in and been like, look. So I had to and I was like,
oh gosh.
So,
well, yeah.
It. Like it's I don't play by my money, I don't play by my husband, and I don't play by my daughter. You do whatever else you want to do, and you can say whatever else you want to say about me, but I do not play. Them three things, I don't play about them.
Yeah. Just to switch gears here, what else I don't play about is these student loans. And everyone my age is really kind of struggling. Not everybody, obviously, but Mr. Biden over here has said no, straight up no to Biden to cut at least, I think, 50,000 of those loans. And I mean, he's saying that he doesn't have the authority to do it. I mean, he could ask his predecessor, Trump, what authority he does have or does not have. And it's kind of caused the whole frenzy, but at the end of the day, the question becomes, do we want our president to really be able to do anything they want? Or should we leave it up to the hands of Congress, to the people that are supposed to represent us?
Wait a minute. Didn't he say that in his campaign, wasn't he working on that?
Yep, he was working on it.
And now he changed. He didn't change a lot of stuff.
Yep. So the promise was that he was going to get rid of maybe like 5,000. Like it wasn't 50,000.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything about that either. So the Democrats asked for a big cut, and he's over here like, nope, I can't do that. We're not, like, he basically said, I'm not going to do it, and it's up to Congress to do it. But he could facilitate it, right? I mean, what do you think?
I had read something that was in his power because it's federal funding. It's not like it's a private lender or anything like that, like the federal student loans. So I don't know what his real issue. I'm sure it's somebody over his shoulder. Because at first he was talking. I remember the figure $10,000, and I was like, "That's not enough," but it's something.
Something, right? Just a little something. I mean, there was also the stimulus checks. I don't know. Has anyone gotten the rest of their stimulus check for 2,000?
I need all the help I can get on student loans. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah.
And I just paid off mine, so I was just like, well, I would be pissed off if he because for the amount that he's saying he's gonna get rid of or whatever. I'm like, hell, that's what I just I just paid that off. Like, hell no. Like,
Good for you.
No, that's the same thing that my mom said because they had, but I don't like that attitude either.
what?
That just because you paid yours off, help can't go to people who have not.
No, I mean, that was just my own.
That's not what my mom meant. This is more
I thought, like,
this is more towards her because I know what you meant.
what? I didn't hear you.
No, she said the same thing. She's like, no, because I had to pay mine off. They can pay it off just like I did. That's her attitude about it.
No.
So, yeah.
But you know what? I mean, people, because I hear people who say that they, who have student loans and their monthly bill, for their student loan is like $400 and $500, $600. Like that wasn't my story. My monthly payment was nowhere near that. And I probably, if it was, I'd probably be deferring that and deferring that and deferring that until I die. But
yeah, I think most people are in the like it's got to be 100 something. I mean, it's more than that unless you could submit to the government. If anyone needs to know, they have programs out there where you could get your payment lowered. And also, if you refinance, just recognize that the government, at the end of the day, their loans are kind of like stuck. But like if you go to a private company, that's when they start harassing you. I'm talking when they show up at your door, collections, like, so if you refinance with a private company, just watch out because that initial deal might be good, but it's a private company at the end of the day and they want their money.
That's right.
So keep that in mind. So, I mean, I definitely don't, when I hear people say that, it's like, hey, these student loans are bad. If you paid it off, great, but what do you want? Some people are like, well, what do we get? And it's all like, yeah, but you paid it. you won, right? So I don't know.
Well, hey, I feel that way about being an essential worker during COVID. Just the way it worked.
Right. Oh man, power to you, Chanel, for real. Well, yeah. I mean, anyone else have anything to say on that?
No, I think that's it.
No.
Yeah, I think we had a great show tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday for sure, same time with the crazy antics, the crazy topics, uncut. And so we can't wait to see you all next week. Have a good night.
Make sure you continue to really fast. Make sure you all continue to share and follow. We are about on our page. We're at about 780. I would love for us to get to 1,000 followers by the time we end. So we need like 352 people. So keep sharing, keep liking, keep following. Tag your friends. Have them come join us. Have them go over to the chat and like the chat. And so we could get our followers up to 1,000. It would be amazing by the time we get off in April.
We can do it, y'all.
We can do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.